Hey guys, Dr. Prometheus here, and we're going to finally start our Chicago Bears GM franchise. So we will use the active roster now because we do have some roster changes. So we do have some roster changes that are implemented because of the draft classes. So we do have a actual change in the rosters with a lot of the players in the draft have this insane amount of speed. So they've changed some of the rosters for the actual teams and have changed those guys to have higher speed, to stick up with those guys, as well as with this past update, they've changed some of the breaking things, so you don't have a lot of weird progression that was happening to veterans, particularly in blocking. So you're having offensive linemen, we're having just weird regression to the point that it was just not playable at that particular time. We're going to go with the season. I'll deal with the league settings afterwards. We've all seen that. So we're going to do a quick roster breakdown just because of the sole fact that we are using the updated rosters, and it is the week 1 rosters. And so we're going to take a quick look at this. So quarterback, Cutler, Clausen, and Fales. We're still going to be looking for that second quarterback, and Cutler's just really got to come up for us big if he's going to stay on this team. At running back, Forte, just a big piece, a big piece of this team right now. We're going to be running a lot of running through this offense, and so it's going to be pretty much all channeled through Matt Forte. We have Jaquise Rogers coming in, carries a holdover from the last regime. We got Jimmy Langford, which as the GM, I've sank a pick in, so this is going to be a guy that's going to get some touches. We'll see what he can do. And Sonoris Perry, which he's hurt. We'll look at the injuries carry over as well. We don't have any fullbacks, so we might have to get a fullback just to start the season. I don't know. We're going to simulate the Kevin White injury. They still don't have it in the roster, so I'm not waiting. We're just going to roll with it and just say he's injured and he's not going to play the entire year. Eddie Royal coming over from San Diego. Marquise Wilson, Josh Bellamy, the preseason stellar this season, this preseason in real life. Cameron Meredith. We have Mark Mariani, see what he can do in the return, and Jalen Saunders. Tight end, we have Bennett, Zach Miller, Kyrie Lee, who we've traded from the Patriots to acquire, and then Thomas Gafford. So one of these guys is probably going to end up being the fullback. So we got on the line, Bushwise on the left side, Slosson's on the left. We might move DeKeese over on the right, though. Montgomery and Grassau, center, Long, and Azumia, which we've got from Tampa Bay. I believe we signed him. I think he was actually cut from Tampa Bay. Then Jason Weaver, who's injured, and at Tayo Fabaluje, who we've actually picked in the draft. I think he's a 5th or 6th player. Yeah, I want to say he's a 5th or 6th player. I think you can see it on here. Yeah, he's a 6th round pick. Okay, so So we might look at putting, like they have in real life, Kyle Long at the right tackle and move Vlad over to right guard. So let's see how that works. We got Ratliff on the left end with Ego Ferguson and Brandon Dunn behind him. Jenkins and Sutton on the right end. At nose tackle, Eddie Goldman, the rookie. He's going to be a big piece of this defense. Pernell McPhee, the premier signing this year for the Bears. So we're going to be leaning on him. Sam Acho, Willie Young, McClellan, Bostic, Layman Barrow, which we've got in a trade, if I'm not mistaken. John Timu just came up some big in some preseason matchups this year in real life. And then Christian Jones. So what we may end up doing is putting, I mean, that's, we're going to put, Shea's going to be starting as one. But we're going to have a preseason battle between Bostic, Burrow, Timu, and Jones. On the right side, of course, Jared Allen is going to be playing here. Lamar Houston behind him. Curtis Washington is going to be one of those players that comes in at all spots. So we're going to be throwing him around, putting him behind Jared Allen, putting him on the other side, and just shifting around and see what he can do. Alan Ball, he's somehow supposed to be our premier corner. Real life, in my opinion, I don't agree with this, but because I just watched the Packers game, Bears-Packers. But Alan Ball, Fuller's probably going to be starting over him. Ball's probably going to be second. Tracy Porter is going to be in that slot. Mitchell, McManus, Callahan. I mean, really, after Fuller, I'm not really high on a lot of people besides McManus. So this is going to be a rebuilding. That's what this is going to have to be. And we have a lot of rebuilding on the defense to do. A free safety, Brock Vereen, DeMonte Hurst, which was moved over from corner. And then Adrian Amos. Really, this is going to be a competition between all three of them. Ryan Mundy, which I believe they put him on the IR on this roster. We got Antron Roll, Anthony Jefferson, who's out, and Harold Jones-Quarty. Of course, we got Robbie Gould. He's not going anywhere. We have the great punter, Pat O'Donnell. And let's see if they have the draft picks in there. No, so they actually have all of our draft picks in there, oddly enough. To look at our injury report before we close this down. So is this even true? I don't even think this is true. I think EA's pulling one on us. Alright, let's see. I don't even think this is true. I mean, I know some are out. If I'm not mistaken, Snorris Perry's fine. Martin. So I think actually he isn't. So I think some of these are messed up. I know he's out. I know Mundy's out. But I didn't think Snorris Perry and Weaver, but we'll just have to deal with it from there. Okay. Well, that probably lets us actually sign more players. Right? It should. Let's pull in Shaden Carden. Let's see if they'll let me. Yeah, it will. And then see what players we can develop. Oh, we definitely need to go in the corner. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to end up probably just going with what we got. And quite frankly, there's a lot of these players that I'm not too high on. Derek Cox, Kelvin Hayden. Yeah, I'm not really high on a lot of those players. They were just going to roll with what we got. That's probably the best thing to do. But I will need another defensive tackle or it won't let me actually probably start the season. Actually, it should. I'll probably just got to take out a fullback, but I'll do that on my own. So thank you all for joining me on this introductory one of the Chicago Bears. I'm going to end up in the first preseason game. I'm going to be showing, well, really throughout the preseason, some of the differences we're going to do, maybe some of the changes, roster moves. I'm going to play all the preseason games and then have a montage of all the preseason games, some of the moves, things like that. And so we can work into this actual games, the season games. So thank you all for joining me. Later, guys.